This video is about how to optimize your phone usage. As we've seen before, it's really easy to get sucked into your phone and have it change your life and desaturate it. So I'm going to tell you that you can use your phone instead of a tool that's removing pieces of your life. It can be a tool that's adding to your life. Control your phone and don't let your phone control you. It's really easy to fall into the urges of your phone and use your phone as a device that is sucking you in, being the guiding force in your life, or in your social life, or in whatever parts of your life it could be a guiding force. Instead, you are the decision maker and your phone follows you. To get started, you want to really start asking questions about your phone usage. For instance, why are you using your phone usage? Is it for communication? Is it for learning? Is it for news? Is it for inspiration? There's many different ways we use our phones, and we're unaware of in some cases we're unaware of it. So really keen into your usage patterns and understand why you're using your phone. Next, you can understand how you're using your phone. Are you picking it up and watching a video? Are you looking at reading content? Are you looking at your photos, playing games? There's so many different types of interactions with your phone. You need to understand what types of interactions you're doing with your phone. Next, the next thing you need to understand is your usage time. This is really critical because the time of day that you use your phone is when you're going to want to use your phone. So after waking up, for instance, is a common time, during lunch break, from a notification, after work, before bed. These are all very common times to use your phone, so you need to be aware of when you're using your phone. So you typically have a simple usage cycle where you have your present usage, your future usage, and your past usage. So what I recommend doing is having smart usage for your present, and I'll explain that in the next slide. Also looking at your future usage, so planning out your usage, trying to figure out what are your goals for your usage and planning so that you have a goal set for how you want to use your phone. And lastly, you're tracking your usage. So it's really important to look at your past usages and understand what has been working for my usages and what has not been working. You have to first pick your platform. So let's say you log in onto Instagram. Next, you have to figure out your intended usage. So you're on Instagram right now, and you have to figure out why are you using Instagram and figure out what is the intended usage. Is it for messaging friends? Is it for getting content for enjoyment? You have to kind of ask yourself these questions. Is it just purely entertainment, right? The next thing is you have to build a usage flow. So the usage flow is very important if you want to take back your ability to control your phone and it not control you. So this is where you kind of introduce some key tips where you use selective interactions. I'll explain that in a bit more. You follow the correct people, you unfollow the people that you don't want. And typically, if you just follow the mantra of interact with good content people and dissociate with unwanted people, you'll typically get a better experience on whatever platform you're using, because you're going to be getting more content that's better than ones that's not. Next, another random tip is just make a second account if you want to have something more niche. Typically, your main account can't support all these different types of interests. It's really important to know when to separate and make a separate account with different interests so that you don't get as overwhelmed as you do on your main account. Run into the issue where you're meeting a lot of new people, but you just get them and they just start clustering all of your main accounts. What I would say is that either one, add them to a secondary account, or two, add them to a platform you don't really use that much. Personally, I add people that I don't know that well on Snapchat because I don't use it, and if I really want to reach out to them, I can. One thing that I found that's really kind of helped me grow is going to people that I look up to, right? and I see their account, they do all these great things, but it just seems so unattainable. But then once I go to the people that they're following, that's when I'm starting to find creators that are almost smaller versions of them or different into different niches. And those people are the ones that are really going to motivate you and show you the right path, as they are small creators, yet they still have like a lot of content that they're making that's quality content, and you need those in your life because that's a very attainable goal. Some people just get starstruck with success, but that's not the way the world works. So if you want to learn more, become a better person in any aspect, don't always go for the big sharks. You can go for smaller creators that have a lot more influence. So next I'm going to explain to you a bit about how the background stuff works for a lot of these platforms. So you may have heard the word algorithm and recommendations, and typically what those are providing you with posts and information that's tailored for you. And the way that it's tailored is it's quite simple. They usually use the most interacted posts. So when you have a post that has a lot of likes and shares and stuff, you'll see it. If it's a trending topic, you'll see it. If it's attention grabbing, you'll see it. And it's typically personalized from your users. They store all of your data of like what your interests are, and will typically show you some of those interests. And your past interactions are very important. So for instance, this is an example. You see a picture of a cat and you decide, hey, you know what, this is a cute looking cat, so I'm gonna give it a like. Once you do that, you're gonna start seeing more cat pictures, especially if you don't like things that often. This has happened to me plenty of times on Instagram and other feeds, where I'll like a certain thing and I'll just start seeing the same types of videos, same types of content. So you can use this to your advantage. Knowing what you like and what will kind of proceed can allow you to kind of tweak your own algorithm so that you can get the posts that you like. So typically things that you're actually interested in versus things that you're not interested in, you need to kind of separate the difference. So when you see something that you actually like it, comment it, share it, upvote it, whatever it may be, and you'll start seeing more of it. If it's something that you want to stop seeing and it's not good for your health, and you need to be honest with yourself about what are your genuine interests and what are your interests that are not good for your health. Kind of gotta cut down and say not interested or downvote it and say like, hey, I'm not actually interested in this content, I don't want to see more of it. And obviously it does depend platform to platform, but some platforms have similar type features. And some might not have the downvote aspect and the not interested, like clicking on the 3 dots and saying not interested, but that means you just gotta really like the ones that you actually like and build your own feed. It's planning your usage. So you kind of have to create some rules for yourself so that you don't get lost in your phone and just fall into the addiction. So you kind of have to maybe use some rules. For instance, only use your phone when you receive a notification, only use for this amount of time, only use at this time of day, or only use a certain platform on your laptop rather than your phone. And obviously this is very hard to set and kind of follow for yourself, but there's tools out there that exist. The 2 examples are Digital Wellbeing on Android and Digital Wellness on iPhone. And they're really good at monitoring your phone usage, and you can kind of customize how you want to use your phone at different parts of the day. There's also Chrome extensions and other things out there if you do the research about how to kind of reduce the amount of screens you see and when you see it and the amount of time you use it for. So here's some tips. I find that using alternative entertainment platforms and replacing them with ones that are less addictive are very key, because you're gonna have all these entertainment platforms. One example is TikTok. If you can find a way to soothe your brain and not use TikTok and get that same type of content but not as bad, like if you can somehow use YouTube videos where it's a lot more selective and you can use that as your platform, you'll be in a lot healthier position, because there's some platforms that are highly addictive and realistically you're just trying to get entertainment. So if you can go on YouTube and just look at a 20-minute video, a TikTok summary video, and just watch all the TikToks that you want to watch and just be like, okay, my 20 minutes is up, I'm done. That's a lot easier to do than to just stop scrolling, because when you're in the scroll mode, you're just constantly going. So really picking your platform for entertainment is really key. Another thing is, when you're using your phone, you want to have clear set goals. That means like if you're going on your phone, know that you're going on your phone for entertainment. Or if you want to go for news, know that you're going for news, and be conscious about the fact that I'm going on my phone to use it for this specific reason. Don't just go on your phone mindlessly and just go straight to the default, like you have that default mode set in your brain where you just instantly click one of your social media apps and you're just instantly going to it. You kind of have to train your brain to say, hey, I'm going on to check my emails, that's it, and stick to that plan. Another useful thing that I find is creating a list of apps that are productive and helpful that you can do instead of going to those platforms, because you're still going to have that phone urge, right? So like for instance, if you want to check your emails, if you want to do wealth management, if you want to go on an educational app, if you want to just start planning stuff for with friends, for instance, there's so many different ways you can use your phone that can actually help you productively rather than something that distracts you. So have the list of them so that you can just say, hey, this is a good idea, this is a good thing that I can do on my phone instead of using such and such app. So the last thing I want to talk about is the past usage, which is the tracking aspect. So you really have to go back in time and look at the ones that you're really abusing, the ones that are at the top of the leaderboards, that are sucking all of your time, and ask yourself, is this healthy? Because a lot of the time you look at that and you're like, it is not healthy, like, whatsoever. Like, I'm like addicted to this thing. I'm using this at least 2 hours a day, like an hour a day. Like, you can't, those numbers are way too high for a regular person. Like, these apps, I mean, they want you to use it that much, but it's not in human condition to be using something like that much. So you have to kind of find a way to find activities or other apps that can replace that usage and kind of balance it out more. And obviously the ideal is to get off your phone and trying to do things away from your phone, and like activities that are hobbies and other interests and stuff like that, instead of just being sucked in. But you kind of have to, you can't just make that jump right away. I would say start by finding other apps that you can use and trying to use them as a means to escape the addiction. Another thing is like identify when your phone usage happens. I talked about this earlier about asking yourself, when do you use your phone? And this is key, because you're gonna have these things called triggers, which are gonna enable you to start using your phone. Like, you're gonna sit down in your bed and you're gonna be instantly phone. There's gonna be different parts of the day when you like wake up, phone. Like, there's a connection and then there's a receptor, and like between those two you're gonna have that kind of 1-2 placement in your brain where you go, eating food, phone. So you have to kind of identify where that happens and pause for a second and ask yourself, like, hey, like, is this what I want to be doing, like actually doing? Is there other things I could be doing? And you can slowly learn to convert it into another activity. But the one thing you need to consider is that phone usage is real and it needs your full conscious efforts to get rid of. So this is an example. If you ever caught yourself in an instance where you're unable to not use your phone, just understand that meditation, journaling, praying, and other mindful activities can help alleviate those sort of tensions and desires. Because in those cases, you kind of open up your brain and just let the thoughts pass, and you're not letting the thoughts carry you. So if you were to, for instance, about to go on your app and just be like, hey, I'm not going to go on an app, but what I'm going to write down is like, why do I want to go on my app? And then you can just write a little blurb, hey, I'm going on this app because I want to get more entertainment. So you kind of have to understand that, like, you need to be like conscious about how you're using your phone, and mindful activities are a good way of kind of bringing those thoughts and desires into reality. These are my final words. Just realistically, with your phone usage, just keep it simple. Don't get roped in. So if you want to change your phone usage, just have attainable goals. Take it one step at a time, one app at a time. And then also just take it one day at a time. So you're gonna have days where it's good and you're like using your phone less, then there's gonna be another days where you're gonna use your phone a lot. And you can't get so hard on yourself, because it's just gonna create more stress on you. Just really just keep it simple, and just whatever feels most natural and helps you the best, just use those techniques. I mentioned a lot of different things in this video and it's gonna be very overwhelming, but if you can just take one thing that I said in the video to be helpful to you, then that's all I can ask for, because one thing could make a huge difference. And even if you're not using all these different tricks and techniques, like if you're just using one of them and it helps you, then that's all for it. And feel free to share and talk to other people about social media usage patterns, because it's really helpful to help one another and outline different tools and techniques that you can use to help, because it's really good to spread the word, because social media addiction is causing a lot of mental health problems. So really just do your best efforts to be a good person, use your phone wisely, and just, I don't know, just be great.